Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauracrapo, and today I thought I would do tarot reading because I felt this other intuitive reading coming on, but it was kind of like in the same vein as my other readings recently, where it's like I was talking about how it's good to sort of start your own kind of neighborhood or community theater stuff to and also, but it was like echoing that in the sense of like it just seems just to be like a lot of uncool plans going on that you don't want to take part in, whatever age you may be. Like it's just like it just doesn't feel right, or stuff like that. To like come up with something from your own good imagination and stuff like that. But I thought, like, instead of talking about theater, community theater again for the thousandth time, I will do a tarot reading instead. I have some other decks, but like I'm just using like Rider-Waite. I have like a mini Rider-Waite, which is like easier on. I don't have like massive hands, so these cards are like really big. So I'm just gonna shuffle. I like you doing more like straight intuitive readings, more about like once in a blue moon. I will do this. Kind of like I'm grateful I'm old and stuff, but it's like surprising as the years go by. Like I'm actually turning 58 in a few days. it seems old, but like at the same time, someone who's 100 would say like you're in the prime of your life. You still got 50 more. But anyway, yeah, I'm grateful. Okay. Old age is a luxury that not everybody gets. So, okay. So some of these cards are like facing the wrong way, so we'll see how that goes. All right. First card is this upside down. How many cups you got there? 4 cups. All right. So like, I guess if it's upside down, someone could have been like just focusing on what is not at hand, like what is in the future that they can't grasp yet, or they're not like brave enough to go towards and claim, kind of. Then your like best friend here is going like, hey, like let me help you. So okay, wait, let me just look at this. So what I get from this card is like, you or like whoever this reading is for, you spent enough time kind of meditating on stuff or sitting with it that at this point you are also kind of in like a spiritual oh my god, no. Especially with that song, the marimba. So at this point you yourself are spiritual. Like you feel like you're so deep in your meditation that you're like on par with this cloud. Like, and seeing things from another perspective, that these opportunities are kind of like grown on trees, and your stillness needs to, like, you can now climb down that tree, stand on terra firma, and like pick these fruits from the trees easily because they're close at hand. Things aren't, you don't feel that like separation from the world anymore because you've done all your meditation and stuff, and you see things from a different perspective, kind of like the hangman, but like cross-legged, anti-gravity hangman in this case. And you're kind of like breaking it down into like, okay, what is this opportunity? It's sort of like looking at a used car, like checking it out. So I feel like this person is like looking at that cup being handed by the cloud as kind of like, it feels like it's, I mean, it is made of metal in this depiction, but it's a kind of like, it's like the opportunity seems real enough that it's like, like someone might have wished for a car or whatever, but now you're like actually looking at this used car or something like that, like in person, and it's just taking on a more real, like it's happening kind of thing. Let's just use car as an example, but maybe that's an example that's close to home for me because my car's in the shop. Okay. Okay, here's, oops. Okay, this one and this one. Oh, we got the hangman as well. So that just like confirms it for me. So what at first seems like a real disruption in your life became like a form of mastery and discipline, where you're now like aware of like your situation in a much better way. It's like you needed it, like it wasn't fun, but at least now you don't feel like stuck in this position anymore, just kind of going, well, what am I even looking at? Like, how do I even grasp an opportunity? And now, like, after you're seeing things in a different light, confirmed here, you're able to like proceed. And then the next card was this. So I do feel like since they're like raising their hands here, holding this stuff up, it still takes a bit of effort. Pardon my it is nail polish, but it looks like liquid paper. But anyway, it's like whatever. Pardon my manicure. So it still feels like maybe more effort than you wanted to do. Like you have to kind of go like, hey, I'm here, like look at me. So you might have to do whatever this cool thing is, like publicly, or like let people know your project or what you're, like these other people in the picture, they look smaller and they don't have their hands up, and they're kind of like less prominent in the picture. So it's kind of on you to be like celebrating life and like being appreciative and like raising the bouquets like up and like dressing cool as much as possible to be noticed. Like sometimes it's good to put your best foot forward. Like right now I'm dressed like I work, like I'm like like a walk on in the office show or something. So I'm kind of boring outfit here, but like if I wore my best clothes, you might be like, oh, she's got some style. It's just like it doesn't hurt to put your best foot forward in life, because it shows you respect yourself and within reason, like whether you're buying your clothes at Goodwill and however you show up, but like you're showing up with care. It like makes people trust you more. That you care. If you care about yourself, you're more likely to care about them. So it creates trust. Okay. All right. We got these other two cards. Oh, the Chariot. Also, if someone's tuning in and you subscribe, then you can ask a question live and I will answer it for you. Right, what do we got here? The Sphinx. I'm assuming that Sphinx is also the plural form of Sphinx. They look really they look really over it. It's kind of funny. They kind of feel like frenemies who reluctantly, like, you know when they say like your enemies become your footstools or whatever, like the efforts they make end up inadvertently helping you. Oh, wait, we're gonna let this truck pass. Someone's got a building project. All right, so here we go with the blase sort of frenemies in front who, like, maybe, you know, through complaining about you or like just saying whatever, like it ended up like, you know, like they say like no, there's no such thing as bad press. So people inadvertently put your name out there and now people are like, hey, they're cool, like come on into our kingdom here. Oops, those are the instructions. Come over to our kingdom and hang out. You're like, yeah, like finally. I think it's been long enough that something cool has happened that you're like, fairies, like any little nice thing is like big news and fun. So you're able to move forward through the efforts of your frenemies or the naysayers who put the word out about you and like your skills or whatever. Like for instance, sometimes if you like mention your dreams or what you think you're capable of, and it might, some people might be like, you know, what are you talking about, like, but then you run into the right person, they're like, absolutely, like I see it too, whatever, you know. That happened today, like I got my mechanic was kind enough to give me a lift back home, and he mentioned something that like was really cool that he saw himself doing in the future and seemed like a cool idea and possible. So I was encouraging, and but you do run into people like this, like these Sphinx who are just like, just like negative Nancy's. But they do their work by like moving you forward inadvertently because they're like putting your name out, and now people are like, I like this person, and I can't wait for them to do the thing that you talked about, that these naysayers talked about, that like they thought wasn't going to happen, but actually to a lot of people seems quite possible, and that they're like not only almost there, but like they belong in that city of fun, you know. And then I kind of feel like this is the naysayer kind of going like, why did I put in all this work? Why was I toiling in this earth of trying to like make things not happen? I mean, even though this is like generally a positive card about like waiting for your harvest or something, but in this context, I feel like this person who is capable of actually making cool stuff happen in their life, they decided to toil and labor over like stopping this fun person. So like one of these Sphinx could be like this person. That's what I feel. And one way or the other, like the effort that was put forth against this person ended up becoming like this bountiful harvest of all these other people's interest in that person, and it like something grew out of it. Okay. All right, what do we got here? We got some more cards. All right, so we got this guy. This one. Oh, this card feels special. Oh, it is. Check it out. All right, so is my nose itchy? Okay, so first I got this card. So we got, what is that? 9 of Cups. The depiction of this guy is kind of funny. Just gonna look at that for a second. I feel like, okay, it feels like a lot like this character feels like just went through like a really long, frustrated period of time. You know, they look like they're kind of straining and uncomfortable, and they've been kind of holding position like I'm gonna do well, you know, but they kind of look like they're in rags, or like the clothes come off to me like as being kind of really homemade and just whatever you could find, kind of like, or it's just worn out, like um that's just the impression. Like I could look at this card tomorrow and see something else, but that's what I'm seeing. So, and like the table, you know, it's like on cloth. It seems very like haphazard, like temporary, like if you're having like a office meeting in a hotel, but you know, by the highway or whatever, and it's like, here are my cups, you know. Really, it doesn't look as serious as being like in an actual kind of throne room and stuff. So it's like he's just sitting on like a basic bench, right? So it kind of feels like, okay, everybody doubted this person, but they've actually made quite a bit of stuff, even though they're not like rich as a result of it. They actually have many accomplishments, even if they look like kind of a pauper at the moment. But they're standing fast, and they might not, you know, their health could be better maybe from all the stress and aggravation of people like doubting them and making them live an austere life. Nonetheless, you can't deny like the achievements of this person. And like, are you gonna notice these cups on the wall, like all these achievements, or are you gonna focus on like the basic like visual status quo when things are clearly like um sort of vibrating at success? Like success seems inevitable. It's just a matter of timing, it feels like. And like there's been like a long wait, but there's like an aspect of like the person isn't like sad and dejected in this card. They're like, they know what is coming to them, and they're, you know, they're waiting for it. And like standing on kind of a barren landscape, nonetheless, like even though their outfit is like kind of raggedy, it's still cool and with their own personal touch and stuff. So, and maybe I feel like, you know, they're holding onto the one stick or wand or whatever, and they don't really see the other support that's just behind them too. So maybe there's like two other people who are like behind you, as it were. And maybe once you get out there, they'll easily like just show up, and suddenly you have like way more support than you thought. And then there's this meaningful mutual 50-50 um mutual respect and giving that is like creative, whether it's it feels like like kind of stability, because there's that house and the hill in the background where presumably these two could take their cups and walk to and hang out. Let me just look at this. I feel like one of the people like in the male character here, is the one who's had like more austerity, has a more simple like inner child kind of vibe, and then the feminine energy is like, some people could say they're kind of like a bitch, or like a lot, but at the same time they do have a lot to offer. Like they came with this massive cup, and it's just as equal as this other person. So it's sort of like opposites attract a bit in this vibe that I'm getting. It doesn't have to be, it could be either like a business relationship, like a creative project, or a love relationship, or both, any variation on that. I feel like even though there's no swords in this card, I feel like the feminine character can, like, you see how her expression is kind of like judgmental and very direct, like it's a direct gaze, whereas the masculine character is kind of looking down and being like more polite. Because he also his hand is reaching towards. Yeah, so I feel like the masculine energy is the one who's going to reach out in terms of these two. Oh, there's also like the lion, the eagle, and the kundalini kind of energy is like kind of gives, like, after much oversight and like thought at a distance, and like bravery, finally stepping forward and creating this like energy that rises up and like is actually like creating something. All right, and then we have, oh, hello, okay, and then I got these two cards. Scary. And then we could get two more and then we'll wrap it up. Tarot cards just feel so like anyway, whatever. Okay, so we have the death card, and we have the devil card upside down. So I'm just gonna look at these. Okay, these are intense. I'm just gonna put that aside. You can look at it for a second, and then I'm sure you know what it looks like if you're familiar with tarot cards. I mean, like the cycle of life, like people are born and live and then pass on, whatever. So there might be some element of that actually happening. in someone in your world. And there might be people who like these children at the bottom who don't really know what to do with that information. And then there's this like kind of Pope like character in the back here. What is that? I kind of feel like for some they can feel that like inspiration connected with sort of but there's also it also feels like he's holding like a dark mass or whatever was that. So for some initially like it might be hard to take and you know when someone's saying some like beautiful words of solace that are like biblical, it might be like too soon for some people. And that like healing will take a bit of time down the road. And then with this character on the horse, it feels like it's someone who like is in some sort of like industry or businessy kind of like a fraternity-ish, like you know, like having that rose. Is that like a? It feels like it's some kind of symbol of some kind of like club. And the feeling I get is like this sort of fraternity type thing, like to take people on and then kind of like use up their energy, and then when they have nothing more to offer, they a bit discarded and stuff. So whether it's like an actual passing or it's somebody now being excluded or like excluded from some kind of business or fraternal organization, or you know like feeling like you're part of the elite or like a you know whatever like you know what I mean, big or small. It just feels like the privileges that this person once had are no longer available to them. So like things like travel, like you see in the distance here, like are seem more in the dark and inaccessible, and everything feels like really present and like just coping with the matters at hand. So either this is like the law coming in and like making a judgment, and it's like, nah, like whatever was going on like is not going on anymore, or it's like an actual passing, like one or the other. And then this card came in upside down. Like when I look at this card, it's like, you know, it's about like control and fear mongering and like trying to distract, like having like these big eyes, and like the hand up is kind of like trying to hypnotize or like scare. But in reality, it's kind of like, you know, smoke and mirrors. And then these people could take these loose chains off and like see themselves differently. Like right now, they're like kind of feeling like, oh, I got myself into this situation. I guess this is who I am. But if you're able to like have mercy on yourself and see yourself differently, then you could like throw those chains off and be, you know, have a little more dignity and put some clothes on, like be these two people instead, who are like these same people. So yeah, like don't, there's always a chance for transformation and salvation and stuff. And, you know, but putting your best foot forward and offering something good and receiving something good, making sure that you're in a mutual good relationship, will help that. And so you don't have this like situation where you feel chained into, feeling stuck and stuff. In the end, like, your mind is very powerful, and if you turn your mind to like loving thoughts, you end up more in a situation like this. And then we have these two cards, which are really great. So it's like a celebration in your community, and like the fulfillment, like 10 of Cups, like overall fulfillment and stuff. So I kind of feel like this horse seems kind of like surprised, like, whoa, you really did it. Like, is this really happening? Wow, like impressed. I feel like the people in the back here are like along for the celebration, but like really pissed. So it's, again, with this kind of frenemy energy, where they've kind of always been there or been close to you, but like secretly pissed or like blasé or like haters. Like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. Like there for the scraps kind of thing. Uh and then they're here to like kind of still calling you out here from the back. But like still want to be around for like the VIP pass, the laminate. Whatever. And but some of the haters have changed their, I was gonna say avis, like their opinion. My French is so bad, but like yet I still think it. Whatever. And then I feel like you, in this case, you're just like tired. Like it's the celebration. You're so tired from like everything that happened that you can't like just go ape shit is a word. Like you're not gonna go crazy over this celebration because you've just done like a triple marathon and people make you tired. But you know that it's important to celebrate important shifts, and then that appreciation, the sort of exhausted appreciation, and sort of staying in that positive energy and rolling with it is gonna result in you being in like a really good situation. And like they're like the cups are in the sky, right? So while there might not, you're not going to a castle here. This is a very like, you know, uh like, is there a thing called Amazon Basics or something, like clothing that's like, anyway, like the stuff they're wearing and like their house is pretty basic, right? It's like their faith, their appreciation is the 10 cups. Or like, I am so grateful for just these basic needs that are being met, like a friend, maybe having kids, like just that goodwill and like the opportunity to it's just like the contrast between these like golden cups like in the sky, which are like not terra firma, you know? Like, for instance, this person, these are like physical cups in a scene, which is like not fancy, you know, like hardworking person who did it all alone. And then this is that like exhausted appreciation for the support finally that's coming from the community. Like, they cannot deny your success because it's, despite the haters, you still push through. And then your like gratitude is creating this golden rainbow. I mean, because like the actual royalty cards are all like solo cards, right? They're not. It's not like the king and queen are together. Like even the lovers. Let me look back at that. Where did you go? Where you got? What is this? Okay, these. Okay, I'm just gonna do these last 4 cards that like surprised me over here, and then I'll finish. We have this guy, the 7 of Swords. So this feels like plagiarism, or like someone like, you know, you created these swords piece by piece, and like you found the the dirt, melted it down into metal, you know, however that works, and then like, you know, like forging the metal and all that stuff, shaping it, and then like this sneaky person tries to run off, but it's like no matter where they run, it's still your signature energy that people like know it came from you. So it's like, why are you doing free advertising for me? Like that kind of feeling. It's the same thing as that chariot vibe I was getting. So like you're copying or hating on this person, you know, only resulted in spreading the word of their quality work. Yeah. So there's that. And then we have the Ace of Wands. Okay. Okay, whatever. It's just like going off intuition here. So like this castle in the distance kind of giving California to me, but it feels like everybody's left, or like it's like an empty castle. And it's kind of like with the internet, it's like you don't have to be in a certain place, and it feels like in your case, like maybe your opportunities are more at hand using the World Wide Web instead of going to like some place that's known for such and such. Like on a personal thing, like, you know, I've been to LA, and I screened my independent movie there and did like a workshop and a screening and whatever. And then it just resulted in somebody copying my work, seeing my own scene done worse on Netflix, in somebody's movie. So it's like, and another thing that happened like way earlier, like in the late 90s, I went to LA and I was meeting some friends of a friend, and I was introduced to someone who like was a musician, and they're like, "Oh, what's your music like?" And I was like, "Well, I could put my CD in." Like we were at their place, I was like, "I could play it for you," and they're like, "No, just describe." Like that's like only in LA kind of come back. Like, no, give me the 3 references that could like whatever, you know. like grandma meets whatever, old piano meets whatever. So it's like, I kind of feel like, don't worry about what was established before, like this blank mountain slash empty castle thing in the distance. You have everything you need to have that through the misty world of the internet. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Okay, what do I got here? When I look at the Queen of Wands, I'm seeing like a masculine face. So maybe it feels like a sweet, nice kind of masculine who's passionate but not like in your face, comfortably passionate person. And then it feels like this black cat is sort of giving like an ex, or like their last serious relationship, who's sort of standing guard, like watchfully, like, who are you? Like, maybe this person is too nice to like tell their ex to like back off. um and I mean, even though this is like the Queen of Wands, I'm reading it as a he, but it's like he's offering this sunflower. So there's like optimism, and maybe they're like attractive and too nice, or they don't like being told what to do. Like, you can't say to them like, stop talking to your ex, like, or something like that, because they feel like maybe they're a person of kind of some privilege, and they're like, well, I'm offering you this golden sunflower, what else do you want? Maybe there's some background noise of exes around, but like, they're not who they're choosing. Like, people still have friends, kind of thing. So it might not be in your wheelhouse to be like okay with exes who've morphed into friends, but like, you know how it's like, someone for a long time, and there's a certain comfort level with that, but they're not marrying them, but like they're around, and they're like a sort of someone they can have like a shorthand conversation with without like, you know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a need to be mature in this situation and not be like, like tone down the whatever. Like, what's that guy's name? Like a talk show, a daytime talk show, like Geraldo. I was gonna say Geraldo. Like, don't be like a Geraldo audience member, like flipping tables and stuff like that. Be mature. And then Page of Wands. Like, it could be like, like some people have a previous family or whatever. Like, that's this cat that's sort of like there in the picture that's not going anywhere, and they're like sort of, faithful and protective of this person, but that doesn't mean they can't like, have the relationship they want romantically or whatever, or partnership wise, and still retain connection with their past or whatever, All right, and then we have the last card of this reading is the Page of Wands. So I kind of feel like this is you like appreciating who you are right now. It's like, oh, like all my optimism and this like desert landscape has resulted in me having like a glow up and my appreciation, like feeling rich despite what's been happening. And like you took yourself out of this like hellish relationship. Where was it? Where are you? Like from the double card thing. Okay. Like you took yourself out of this. You're like, why am I even here? Like, I don't even like this. This is so not me. You know, I'm gonna take this heavy necklace off and walk away, put some clothes on, you know, be optimistic, find someone who's like suitable for me, who's actually gonna give 50-50 and be like pure about it. And now you like yourself better and you like your new situation and you made something out of nothing based on your optimism and your desire to improve and like really embrace life, even if it's this sort of pie in the sky 10 of cups. It's like, you know, like it's pie in the sky, like we made it kind of thing. But like I said, like these cups aren't on the ground and you're not going to a castle. You're just like, I embrace life and I love goodness. And this has resulted in this being paired up with the right people or person and attracting this feeling of abundance. And like, look how swag you are now because of that. And like, wherever you go, you know, people can read that you're like living and embodying that success and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. These massive cards. And yeah, so if you guys have a subject for a reading that you want me to do, feel free to email me or like go through my website, which I have listed in the information box, and I'd be happy to look at that. And if you guys love my channel, subscribe. That would be amazing because more subscribers mean that eventually my channel can be monetized, which would be great. And if you want to leave a tip, there's information how to do that in the information box too. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm just going to send you guys a good little bit of energy here. The little thing I pick up is like, despite what people are saying or the negativity that you might be like dealing with, if you can even feel like even just a thread of positivity, just focus on that and that'll grow, I feel like. So take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.